Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC, and we've got the full review of the Arrma Mojave 4x4 4S BLX. This is a 1/8 scale electric 4-wheel drive 4S LiPo capable desert truck or short course truck. I consider it more to be of a short course truck, but Arrma calls it a desert truck, no big deal. But we've had it for a few weeks and been running it, bashing it, doing a lot of running with this short course truck. A lot of fun as well, and just want to share my thoughts. The way this review works, we go through 6 different categories, giving a rating from 1 to 5 stars, and it's graded on a curve. So 5 stars would mean best in class, 3 stars would mean average. It's not a bad score, it just means it's kind of typical for something like this, and 1 star would be basically worst in class. Now, not a whole lot of 1/8 scale short course trucks out there. There used to be a few out there, like the Team Associate, I think it's called the SC8. They still got the About Hyper SC, which is an 8 scale short course truck, but not a whole lot out there. So it's kind of a slim pickings within this class. But for 4x4 4S vehicles, I do have quite a few. I've got the Max V2 from Traxxas. I've got the Arrma Crane 4S, the Arrma Outcast 4S. So yeah, a few different vehicles out there. Also the Team Corelli Skeeter 4S. So pretty familiar with what you can buy within the 4S class. And so do a little bit of comparison within all those other vehicles, but it is a little bit more of a 1 of 1 or 1 of 2 type vehicle. So yeah, let's get into the review. Okay, pulling off the body, we can take a closer look at the vehicle and the electronics package. I've got my Genzace 5300 milliamp hour 4S pack. This is part of their G-Tech Smart lineup, so it's pretty much like plugless, charging. You just plug that thing in with the thing, and you don't have to press any buttons or anything. Super nice battery, fits really well. I did remove one of the additional plugs, so it does come with 2 IC5 connectors. I just soldered on in just a single. It makes it a lot easier. This 4S pack makes it a lot nicer, and the battery straps do come with a pretty large battery, so that's pretty cool. The other electronics does come with the SLT3 radio. In my opinion, one of the best RTR radios out there. Foam wheel, really nice, precise trigger. It does have 3 channels, including a 3rd channel here. Steering, dual rate, throttle, steering trim, and then a bunch of adjustments here on the back, including a 50, 75, 100% throttle limiter. So if you want to cut the power to 50%, just flip that switch. Throttle, steering, reversing, takes 4 AA's, 2.4 gigahertz, and yeah, great radio all the way around. Includes endpoint adjustment as well as what Spectrum calls travel. So again, one of the best radios out there. And then the receiver again is pretty awesome as well. It comes with the SR315 receiver, compatible with all other Spectrum radios. So if you got a DX5C or DX5 Pro or any other Spectrum radio, binds right up, and you can take advantage of those higher speed protocols. It's got the Spectrum Firma ESC, adjustable, programmable, 4S capable, really nice ESC. It's got a 2400 kV motor, 4S capable as well. Fan here on top, as well as a heat sink. Electronics wise, I think this is one of the best out there. The servo's even pretty fast, metal geared, waterproof, plenty of torque. Again, just an excellent electronics package. I think it's best of class. Really have no complaints. The only thing I might, kind of nitpick a little bit is that the servo is a 23-tooth servo horn, but it looks like Spectrum's moving away from that and starting to standardize on 25 tooth, but this is still a 23 tooth, something to be aware of. But yeah, electronics wise, fast, powerful, really good radio, really good receiver. I think this is best in class. I'm going to give it 5 stars with an electronics package. Nothing out there I think is as good. I'm always happy to see the Arrma 4S electronics, and I'm really glad to see that they reused it here, and it's an excellent package overall. Now on the design front, this is pretty much based off their pre-existing 4x4 lineup, so that includes the 3S and 4S line, things like the Granite, Crane, Outcast, but they made a lot of improvements, and so we'll kind of go through that overall. Obviously a composite style chassis. This is pretty much what they've been going with since the beginning. Adjustable turnbuckles all the way around, does hybrid, sort of metal and plastic drive shafts all the way around. Seem to work pretty well. Little guards here for the out drives. Shock towers are composite or plastic, pretty much just fit right into the chassis. It just kind of splits in half. Body posts up here are very durable. As you can see, the large bumpers, front and rear, including even a wheelie bar. Aluminum shocks front and back, very progressive springs. Pretty good shocks overall. I'm pretty impressed with that. And then it's got sway bars front and rear. 17 millimeter aluminum axles out here, so very nice, you know, standard size. Originally the V1 4S line had kind of these weird adapters and stuff, but nice to see that they are using 17mm hexes, because that is a standard. Plastic center shaft, which is probably the only thing I kind of would fault the design wise, but you know, it works fine. Didn't really have any issues with rocks and stuff like that, so that will work okay, I think. And then kind of the one big upgrade they did on this vehicle is to include a center differential. So all the other 4x4s out there from Arrma had like a slipper clutch, and you know, not necessarily the best slipper clutch out there, but a lot of people wanted to see a center differential, and they finally had that aluminum center differential, metal gears inside, really nice. And I think it's even backwards compatible with all their other 4x4 4S vehicles. So nice welcome change. Didn't really raise the price too much, you know, so it's pretty nice that they included that. They got a little cutout here for the spur gear. Again, that was one of the little complaints people had, was that dirt would get in there and certainly kind of gum up and tend to mess up the bearings and stuff inside the spur gear. So nice to see they included that. Overall, I think design-wise it's quite good. Even the body's got that center roll cage like I mentioned, so a lot of extra durability reinforcement here on the body. So if you take those crashes on the roof, this, you know, does support the body and prevent it from like slamming in and cracking. And it also has kind of this inner tray, which kind of helps keep dirt and debris and rocks and stuff from getting within the chassis, which could be a bit of an issue, especially on a short course truck with the fenders that, you know, tend to collect all the dirt and stuff spinning off the tires. Design wise, I think it's really, really good. I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5. Is it the best design out there? I have some minor complaints like the center differential. I do find like the electronics module here a little bit fiddly, like especially changing out the servo, a little bit of work, but no other major complaints. And I see they improved it with the center differential. It makes it, you know, quite a bit nicer than the other 4S vehicles that they used to have. You know, overall, I think it's pretty good. The hybrid drive shafts, again, you know, some of their vehicles like the Skeeter have steel dog bones or steel drive shafts, so that's, you know, improvement over this. But overall, I think it's a really good design. Maybe not best in class, but certainly above average, and one of the stronger points in the design category. Now, personally, I find short course trucks not to drive particularly well. A lot of it is just due to the body. They don't tend to fly that well with that big body. They tend to kind of collect air inside the body, which makes it kind of float and parachute through the air. You know, they're just not really good at doing stunts and stuff as well. So I was kind of shocked with the Mojave 4S, because I took this out to my local BMX park, was able to send it right away, do these huge 20-foot jumps, backflips in the air. Even in the air, I found it quite controllable. I think part of it's just kind of due to the design of the body. It has a ton of ventilation here in the back. You know, it's pretty much all cut out, you know, so air can flow through and out of the rear of the vehicle. It also has no windshield or anything like that. So it's kind of interesting. I think air actually flows within the cab, you know, past these drivers and passengers and stuff, and kind of exits out the back. In my opinion, it kind of is a little bit more stable in the air. It almost acts like a little bit of a funneling effect or of a wing effect. So it's a little bit more stable in the air than most short course trucks, which I find rather interesting. I don't think I've ever had another RTR short course truck that could backflip. This is the first one I've ever had that I could backflip. So again, that is impressive, unique within this class. It's got enough power, even though these tires are not particularly huge. They don't balloon a lot. They're actually quite firm. You are able to get enough rotation. So I find the you know, the controllability in air to be really, really good. Not only how it flies kind of sort of straight more than, you know, most short course trucks, but even the rotation there is amazing. It is best in class in that category. Handling is quite excellent. The center differential does make it a little bit more fluid on the ground, allow it to kind of carve corners rather than square up and, you know, point and shoot like some of the other vehicles that they've had with the slipper clutch. So that is an advantage. Plenty of steering, handles quite well. The traction on the tires is decent. You know, it's not best in class. These aren't like super soft, grippy tires, but they got the right tread pattern. They got enough compliance on the ground to, you know, allow you to suck up those bumps and get some decent traction even on loose dirt, which is where I typically drive. So yeah, very nice vehicle, easy to drive, quite stable. I think if you've never had a short course truck, this is actually one of the best handling out there. Now, there isn't a 1/8 scale racing class, but if there was one, this is certainly a pretty good vehicle in the way it drives. And I've seen, you know, like RC Driver Online take it out to an 8 scale race truck and actually drive around. So yeah, in the performance category, I think this is best in class. It sort of breaks the barriers on how good a short course truck can drive, in my opinion. Just in the air, the way it flies, the way it's even able to rotate. It doesn't rotate obviously as well as something like a monster truck or a truggy or something like that, but for a short course truck, this is much more controllable in the air. And even some jumps where I came off the rim kind of at an angle, I was able to kind of land it, kind of float it, and get it to land on its wheels, even though it looked like it was going to crash. So I'm quite impressed with the performance, if you can't tell. 5 stars for sure. This is, the best short course truck I've driven, sort of within this 8th scale class. Obviously, there's not a whole lot out there, but for a short course truck, even, I've driven 10 scale, I've driven 7 scale short course trucks. This drives amazing, and not even just within this class, but among other short course truck classes. So 5 stars in the performance category. The one major flaw of short course trucks is the body tends to take a ton of abuse because, it's covering the whole top half of the vehicle. So if you land anywhere upside down, the body takes a lot of impact. It's quite large. It's all made out of Lexan. So these things tend to take a lot of abuse and not last particularly well. I will have to say, though, the Mojave with this inner cage, with this inner liner, actually mostly impacts, gets centered within that inner roll cage and, gets transferred into the chassis through these holes in these posts and stuff. So I find this a lot more durable than your typical short course truck just because of that inner roll cage. Now I did get some crackings here in the back, so you can see on both sides I've got cracks forming basically where, I don't know what you call this, the tail or the bed section of the short course truck. It is all cracked, but I kind of view the shell as more of just a cover, and really that roll cage is the body, or really at least the support system, and the rest tends to break. But yeah, quite impressed with the durability of that. Other than that, I did have this little rubber guard here in the front fall off, so that lasted about 2 packs, and then I had to tear that off, so not running that at all. Other than that, nothing else has broken, so quite impressed. I think the shell or that inner liner that prevents rocks from getting within the chassis does help the center drive shaft hold a little bit more. Certainly on other vehicles, I've had rocks get in here and kind of get jammed in the center shaft, kind of shred it up. So it's nice to see that actually works functionally, not just for dirt and stuff and keeping it clean, but also to prevent the center shaft from getting broken. But other than that, yeah, seems like a very durable vehicle. I've landed on the nose, I've landed upside down, just had a lot of jumps and sends with this thing, and not all of them land correctly or on all 4 wheels, but other than that, I really haven't broken anything. This thing seems super durable. Issues with the sand and stuff getting within the power module, not really a concern with this thing. So quite impressed with the durability. No rocks got jammed within the steering rack or anything like that. The body does kind of get pushed into the tire sometimes when you slam the front bumper, just because there's not a whole lot of support here, but sometimes you might have to push it back, but that's not really a durability thing, just more of a thing you might have to fix while you're driving, but nothing you would actually have to replace. So durability wise, this is, I think, one of the most durable short course trucks you can buy. Certainly that roll cage adds a ton of durability to this. For the body reinforcement, 5 stars within the durability category. This is best in class. Yeah, it's just excellent all the way around. Arrma is a big brand. They're owned by Horizon Hobby, which has a large presence through all the hobby shops, at least here in the US. You can certainly buy parts online through Horizon Hobby or A-Main or whatever. But yeah, Arrma, I think, is one of the better supported brands out there. Their warranty is very generous. It's basically like a 2-year warranty. They tend to work with you, if you break things. Now, if you break something due to your own fault because you crash it, in my opinion, that's not a warranty item, but I know a lot of people sort of take advantage of that. So support-wise, there's not a whole lot of other short course truck brands out there. Traxxas doesn't make a short course truck in this 8 scale size. So I got to give them 5 stars in the support category. They seem to be pretty decent about stocking parts now here at the launch. That's something I've complained about in the past. But yeah, it seems like you can buy everything, including a new body and stuff like that. So yeah, the launch of the Arrma 4S, good part support online or at your local hobby shop. Again, a lot of the parts are compatible with even the 4x4 lineup from their 3S or 4S line. So a lot of them are compatible, and there's going to be parts available even today, at launch time. So pretty nice. I'm going to give it 5 stars in the support category. I think it's best class. Working on it, it's not too bad. This chassis brace comes out with like a couple screws. You can just kind of back them out and you can pop that thing off. Power module, again, a few screws underneath, and then you can slide it out and then basically open it up and work on everything that has to do with the motor, spur, or the center differential. The electronics package up here, or electronics module. It just comes out with a couple screws, like 5 screws, I think. Pop it out, but you got to tear it apart if you want to change the servo. But overall, yeah, it's a pretty reasonably easy vehicle to work on, so I do like it overall. And certainly the support side, I think, is best in class. Not a whole lot else out there. The Mojave sells for $500, just a penny shy of $500 here in the US. That I think is pretty fair price. Other forest cars range from like $470 to $570, $470 for something like the Outcast or Creighton Forest. The Skeeter I think is $520 now, and then something like the Traxxas Max is $570. So still quite a bit of money for the Traxxas Max, but at $500 with a really nice body, well painted, pearl paint scheme, inner roll cage, inner sort of shield or cover for the chassis, I think is really nice. Aluminum shocks all the way around, aluminum stub axles all the way around, a center differential, which is nice. Not all the other vehicles have a center differential, and a really good electronics package, which I think is best in class. I think this is actually a pretty good value. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Is it the best value? No, I think that still goes to the Skeeter, even though it's $520. $20 more. It's all metal, all aluminum, metal drive shafts, metal chassis, a lot of metal, to be honest with you, within that vehicle. But this is still a pretty good deal. Certainly above average, and I know $500 is a lot of money, and especially for a 4S vehicle, that sounds like a lot, but I think you got a lot with what you pay for. Even something like the Habao Hyper SC, I think is $390. You still have to add at least $100, maybe closer to $200 to that before you get fully ready to run, because it is just a roller, so that isn't even really a cheaper deal. So yeah, within the value category, 4 stars. I think this is one of the better ones out there, and one of its stronger points, of course. So my final thoughts on the Mojave 4S is that this is an excellent vehicle. I don't like to tell people whether they should buy something or not, or whether it's worth it or not, because $500 is a lot of money. If you don't, there's certainly something you could spend a lot of money on something else. Like if you didn't have a phone, I wouldn't say buy a Mojave 4S. That's not worth it, quote unquote. You would want to get yourself a phone. If you are eating top ramen every day, $500, no, this is not worth it for $500, because you should be spending that money on something else. So all I really like to do is compare this to other 4S vehicles you can buy out there that are on the market, and that's what that whole rating system is designed to do, kind of show you how this compares to other vehicles within its class, or that you can buy from other brands, or even within Arrma. But this is an excellent vehicle. I think it drives well. If you've seen all the ratings, everything's at least a 4 or 5 star rating. So that means it's definitely above average in nearly every category, or actually every other category, if not the best vehicle out there. And I think it's a little bit groundbreaking in the sense that you can do more with this short course truck than you can do with any other short course truck I've driven, at least RTR wise. It backflips. I've never had a backflipping short course truck, and it backflips fairly easily. It's just amazing in the performance. I actually think it flies through the air better than pretty much all other short course trucks I've had. It doesn't have any fins or anything like that, but for whatever reason, it does seem to glide through the air and land in a little bit more controllable. Now, it doesn't compare to a monster truck or a trucking the way it flies, but this for a short course truck is really excellent. So yeah, overall, I would say for 2023, this is one of the best RC cars I think that were ever released. Top 3 for sure, maybe even the best RC car I think that came out for 2023. It is excellent, and I don't think there are any real weaknesses. I mean, the body cracks a little bit, but not a major issue. The body, I know some people had trouble pulling it off, but I've made a video on how to do that. You just grab it from the sides, lift it, shake it a little bit, and it pops out within a second. So I don't consider that to be a concern or a design issue or anything like that. I think it's just a great vehicle overall. Anyway, so let me know what you think about the Mojave 4S. I'll have a link in the description below where you can pick one of these up. It does help support the channel at no cost to you, but of course, buy it from wherever you want to support. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.